that sales reps have is themselves. The one thing you need to go from a mediocre sales rep to a great sales rep is a mirror. If you can't look in that mirror and be honest with who you are, where you stand, you'll never be successful in sales.
I got my man Sheikh. This guy has done over 5 billion with a B.
So nice, they got me here twice.
Yes, exactly. The way I see it as a salesperson, you're a fucking actor.
I actually make the actor analogy all the time because it's all about delivery, and that's what sales reps sometimes don't understand, right? It's the emotion that you're eliciting from the person in front of you.
There's a lot of bullshit sales programs out there. People get 10 grand, 15, 20 for some shit. It's not really gonna help them, man.
People are looking for some magic formula, some trick, right? They're just like, hey, if I spend this money, will that spending of money make me better at sales? But the answer is no. For salespeople, it comes down to 3 things: interpersonal skills, content knowledge. How well do you know your industry, your product, your competitors? And then the last thing is you gotta have some balls.
People get worried, like AI is gonna replace sales. What are your thoughts about all this?
I don't think AI is going to replace sales, but when it's applied correctly, I think it really could be an enhancement to salespeople.
How do you hire in this kind of environment? People get fucking offended.
This is fucking sales. If you're sensitive in sales, you're in the wrong fucking industry. Get out.
You find it's better just to hire someone with no sales experience or someone that already has sales experience? Newsbreak is the fastest growing local news app in the United States, with over 50 million monthly and 16 million daily users checking in throughout the day. When you sign up, the Newsbreak team reaches out with white glove service to get you onboarded and making money right away. Up to $5,000 in matching ad credits, quick account approvals, and dedicated account management to help you find early success. To learn more and sign up, check out the link in the description below. Don't waste time. Sign up now and let's fucking go. All right, guys, listen, I don't even know what fucking day it is. It's money-making day is what it is.
Right.
I got my man Sheikh. He was on here before once with us. We usually don't bring guests a second time, but you know what happened? We got a lot of audience. Man, they want to know how to fucking sell. This guy's done over 5 billion, billion with a B. One motherfuckers to know that's a billion, 5 billion. Right?
Yeah.
With a B.
So nice, they got me here twice.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to elaborate on that. We're going to talk about culture, team building. There's a lot of fucking people don't know how to sell anymore. They don't know how to run fucking teams. I just bought a car 2 weeks ago. No one tried to close me. I didn't hear one closing question. I couldn't fucking believe it. What is going the fuck on?
People are afraid.
Yeah.
They're afraid to sell. They're afraid of compensation. They're afraid of the no. Like, the sales is all about the no. It's embracing the no. Like, and I teach it to salespeople all the time. Like, the no is what you want. It's the thing you should be ready for. I mean, even the best salespeople, think about it. Like, you're gonna get way more no's than yeses. You're not getting yeses, right?
Yeah.
How many yeses do you get? Whatever your closing percentage is, 30%, let's say. So 3 out of 10 people will say yes, but in front of each yes is 5 no's before you get to that yes. So just think about it. Just mathematically, the no is the thing that drives sales. The yes is the end result you're looking for, but it's the no. And today they're all afraid of it. I'm not surprised. You walked around that dealership and they were just like hoping you'd
three dealerships, bro.
Hoping you'd sell yourself.
Well, we got one follow-up call and one follow-up text. I remember back in the fucking day, man, you get harassed. And that's how it should be, honestly.
Harassed.
Right?
They don't let you leave the dealership.
Yeah.
They'll keep you there till 10:30 at night to make sure they could sign paperwork. Like,
for real. Oh, I forgot about those days. You're right.
Right? Like, it would be 7-hour negotiations. I remember going with my parents as a kid, right? Like, we're in the Toyota dealership. It's like a 7-hour negotiation, right? Like,
You get mad.
yeah.
I remember one time I got fucking pissed. I'm mad at this motherfucker. And then they came and chased me, and then bam. And it was like I did a takeaway without realizing I did a takeaway, you know?
You can't walk into a parking lot without a line of people just ready to talk. Like, it used to be like that. Today,
Yeah, it's not.
yeah, today's just like, you need anything? Like, like, and you're just like, no, I'm just looking. They're like, all right, bye.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And then, I'm glad you mentioned that, because my first sales job was I was a bond broker at a company called JV Hanauer in Parsippany, New Jersey. We're selling bonds, and we had this really good training, a month long of training, man. And we did role playing, we did all this, we did all that. And there was one of the top producers, the guy was making $1 million a year back in 2003. And he said the real sale doesn't begin till you get to the third no.
100%.
And that you just reminded me of that. And that's true. And I think a lot of it, let me know what you think about it, has to do with fucking this day and age of instant gratification. People get that dopamine fix, so they don't get that instant yes, like, oh, fuck it, I'm just like, whatever. They forget about it. But that's like a lost art is what it comes down to.
It totally is. I mean, just recently I was speaking to my sales team about, the art of negotiating, and people think that there's something that just happens at the end. Like, no, it's how you build to the end. It's like creating. I'm like, the first thing that needs to exist for a negotiation to occur is a desire or need for something. Like, what have you done to build a desire or need? Like, what have they done? Like your car guy. Like, what did he do? Like, hey, what kind of car are you interested in? Like, what are you looking for? Like, is it a today purchase? Is it a something you're thinking about in the future? Is it for you, your wife, your kid? What? Like, no one's building a profile. They're just like, they want the easy yes, or they walk away because they're like you said, they're just looking for gratification, short attention spans, just flat out scared. Salespeople today are cowards. One of the biggest. It's like, you're in the wrong profession. What are you doing? What are you doing at the job? So it's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah.
No, it is true. And I think what they're looking, in my case, they were hoping that the test drive would do the magic for them, right? And
They want the car to sell.
they want the car to sell, right? And I come from the world, you probably same thing, sell the sizzle, not the steak. And the sizzle gets created by asking those questions, envisioning yourself. But yeah, there was no probing questions, no trial closes, there was none of that stuff. And then some people, this might be foreign language to them, right? But I when I became a bond broker, I wanted to make money, man. I mean, I came from NYU, had a lot of student loan debt. I saw motherfuckers that are a dot-com bubble make a lot of money, then they lost that money. And I saw this as a way to fucking make it happen. They told me, you make 300 calls a day, you're gonna talk to 60 people, you're gonna get 3 to 5 leads, all of them will be bullshit but one. You pitch them the next week, get 1 out of 10. Like, it was a formula, and that fucking formula worked, man. And you're like, if you do that for 2 years, you'll make over 100 grand, right? You do that for fucking 3 to 5 years, you'll make half a million. It worked. Like, I was proof of that, sticking with the formula. I started making, and then I went into business for myself using those techniques, and it's happened there too, right? So
It's all about systems, 100%. Like, there's you hit it right on the head. Like, there's a sales formula. Every business should have one. Every business, right? And every industry does, right? And people sometimes don't understand, like, that in order for it to be, there's already tried, tested methods, right? And just follow the system, stick with it. And it's about numbers, right? It's a numbers game. So you want to apply to sales a formula that wins more times than doesn't,
correct.
right? More times than any other formula, or the most winning way to do something. And people just, they've abandoned it. They think like they can just try their own things or try different things. But if something works, like we have a very scripted approach to sales with us, right? And I've ran so many appointments, and I used to tell people, like, I if I'd make the same joke. If I had a joke that worked in the house, I just make the same joke in every house. Like, if it's funny, it's funny, right? Like, it works every time. And when I'd get to a certain part of my presentation, I'd make the same exact joke, and I'd get a smile every time. Why stop making the joke then? Right? Because one person didn't smile or one person laughed. Like, people let singular instances alter the way they sell, and they shouldn't, right? There's a system that works. You apply it. It doesn't work every time. It just has to work more times than the other way that you're doing it, right? And that's where just sales reps fail so often. They don't follow the system. And today it's funny. We have our reps that go into homes. Every single appointment is recorded.
Mm.
So there's analytics around adherence to the process and the success of that. And there is a direct correlation with the people that are selling. When they sell, it's because they stuck to the program, and that program sells. And we're talking like 80+%. When compliance is above 80+%, the success rate is doubled
Yeah.
versus not. So it's a huge, huge difference. So we're seeing the analytics in real time, that our reps that are in the home using the program are have twice the success of those that don't. So it's interesting to see it in that way now with technology.
Yeah, I love it, and I was going to ask you how you integrating technology, and then I was in Momentum for a bit in 2017. And by the way, I know we kind of skipped. I'm assuming everyone saw the first episode, but Alex Sheikh is he's one of the owners, partners, and he's a CRO at Momentum Solar. These guys have done billions in solar. I mean, at one point, it was great to see firsthand how you guys grew. I think I was the first lead provider that actually worked in terms of online leads. Right? I don't know if I told you this, but I remember Adam Gagino, man. He was you guys pulled like $3,000 worth of leads for me, and off the first 1,500, you guys got a sale. And I think prior to that, I think Arthur, the CEO of the Momentum, he's fuck online leads. I think you guys spent 20,000 on them and nothing worked.
Nothing worked.
So you guys were very hesitant, but I was lucky because I kind of had like an in with Adam, and then off the first 1,500, you got a sale on there, and Arthur was like, "Fucking buy more, blah, 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 blah," right? And fucking 9 years later, we're still in business. But to see how it's just
I mean,
trajectory.
even with that model, if I remember correctly, and this is going back to what, 2016, right?
2016, man.
Yeah, in 2016, I mean, even with that model, like we quickly ran to like 800,000 a month in lead spend from that first $3,000
Correct.
purchase. We were at a point like, and in more recent years, we've more than quadrupled that number in monthly lead spend. But even then, because look, if you have a winning system, a winning program, double down, triple down, right? If you can take $1 and make it into $3, do that on repeat, right?
Yeah, and that's what it all comes down to numbers, right? And like you were saying, if this joke works, just why reinvent the fucking wheel, right?
Yeah.
And it comes down to even like baseball, Hall of Fame, 300, and that means you're 70% of the time you're out.
You're out.
Right?
Yeah.
The 30% of the time you couldn't. That's all it takes to get a Hall of Fame. And Derek Jeter, consistency. You can get from that guy. So I think that's what happens. People, they let the world get to their heads. And the way I see it as a salesperson, you're a fucking actor. It's not much different being an actor.
1,000%.
When you're on that joke, blah, 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 and you have to know your shit. And that's why the ones that really hone that craft, when I got the sales, I hated getting my ass chewed out. But you know what? I realized that it's almost like a UFC fighter. The more you start to learn how to deal with objections, I would read books, I do these trainings, and then at least I gave it my all. And the more I did that, the more I might have 4 or 5, 6 no's, and then they say, fuck you, they hang up the phone. But then the next time, I was ready. Like, they couldn't fuck with me, right? So that's why I was able to accelerate and do as well as I did.
I actually make the actor analogy all the time because if I read the same script from, pick your favorite movie, and it was me reading that script, the movie would suck, right?
Yeah.
It's all about delivery, and that's what sales reps sometimes don't understand, right? It's how you deliver, it's the performance that you're giving, it's the emotion that you're eliciting from the person in front of you. Just like people watch movies and cry, like it's fake.
Yeah.
Like, what are you crying? Like, it's fake, it's acting, right? Like, no one actually died, but you cried because the performance, the delivery elicits that emotion from you, and that's what a sales rep needs to do. In a home, on the phone, at a dealership, or wherever you are. It's so important. Perfect analogy, though. Perfect analogy.
Yeah. So with that being said, right, are you using technology when you're inside the house, right? Which when I was with you guys, that didn't exist, right? So I'm sure that's helping. But what do you? Because the other day here we had a company. These guys are about to become a unicorn. They're a Soonicorn in the UK. They're an AI company. They had $100 million valuation a year ago. Now they have a $3 billion valuation. Fucking crazy. So what they do is they go to call centers and they put these AI agents in there and they do quality assurance that they call. But what do you think? Where I'm going with this is, you talk about emotion. The AI it's trying to mimic that emotion, but people get worried like AI is going to replace sales. I don't think it. I mean, it will to an extent, but I feel like the high level salespeople are always going to make more fucking money, right? Like, it's not going to disappear. Like, what are your thoughts about all this?
I don't think AI is going to replace sales, but when it's applied correctly, I think it really could be an enhancement to salespeople, and a tool that would be super beneficial, right? Because it can in real time prompt you. Like, you still need in sales, you still need that human contact. I mean, like, if you look at the vast majority of, like, look in the solar business as an example, like, a lot of companies have gone, like Tesla switched to a model where they said, all right, you know what, you could just buy solar online from us, but it's lower prices. Every single day we take customers from Tesla, right? They're with a Tesla quote at a much lower price. We're signing those customers up because it still requires that creation of emotion, that human contact. But AI is a powerful tool that can supplement your sales program, that can provide you real-time information, feedback that allows you to create a better experience or just enhance the way you do things. So it's an awesome tool. I don't see it in its format today. I've seen some crazy things with AI, these robots and things like that. I just don't think it's there where it can replace a human getting into a home with another human and creating the right emotions necessary to make a sale.
Yeah, I'll give you a good example of that. I have a client. He's notorious. A lot of people don't like to deal with this person. It's tough to crack, right? It's been tough for me to crack too, and I'm pretty good at cracking people, or like creating rapport or whatever.
Sure.
So this guy placed a massive age order with a different company, right? And I think our prices were too high and da 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 da. So I had like a 30-minute conversation with him, right? And then like 10 minutes later, you know what? Fuck it, let's do the order. Boom. And I, you know, and it hit me. You know why he did it? Because we did that 30 minutes. It was emotion, and I'm just talking like a person, and I'm asking the questions. Okay, where does the party? Let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can make happen. I got to check with the team. Let me do some analysis. And he's like, you know what? Come back. Forget the analysis. Just send me the thing. I'm gonna do the order. And I think it's because of that 30 minutes, that the emotional thing where, and that's the difference with the Tesla. Like you look at it, buying it, and there's no emotion behind it, and people want to be sold. Is what it comes down to, right?
Correct.
They don't want to sell themselves. They think they overthink the fucking process, and that's where a good salesperson comes into place and really guides you to make shit happen.
People want to be sold all day. They just don't want to be taken advantage of, right? And
Exactly.
that's why they have all of these fears and blocks. Like I use the jean analogy, right? Like let's say you go to a mall, and everyone has gone to a mall at some point and bought a pair of jeans, right? And think about the process. You go through it, you get in your car, you sit in traffic, you go there, you find a a parking spot somewhere far, looking for a parking spot closer. You get to the mall, you duck around a few people trying to rub lotion on your hands or sell you a quadcopter or something like that, right? And then you get to the department store of choice, you get to a wall of jeans, and you're staring at this wall of jeans, and the salesperson walks up to you and says, "Hey, can I help you?" What do you say?
No, like,
No,
no, not.
you're like,
It's just like
you're,
you just look,
you're like,
trying to ignore.
no, I'm just looking. But like, you actually just went through all of this to finally get to the place, right? Where you're at the spot where you need to buy the thing that you need to
Yeah,
buy. And the one person that can help you, right, says, "Hey, can I help you?"
yeah,
Your immediate reaction without thinking is just like, "No, thank you. I'm
yeah.
just looking."
Default.
And but who better to pick? I'm like, I see a person in the mall. I'm like, yes, actually, here's my size. Here's the
Yeah.
colors I'm looking for. Here's the fit. Give me some options, right? And and everybody wants them. What they don't want is to be uncomfortable. What they don't want is to be sold something that they don't want. But like people don't realize sometimes that no one's gonna sell me. I don't know. I wouldn't wear pink jeans, right? No one's gonna sell me pink jeans. No one's gonna sell me a size that doesn't fit me. Like it's not gonna happen, right? It's human nature. We all want to be sold. We're all buyers. We're all buyers. I mean, if you think about it, from a baby, you have kids, right?
Mm.
I mean, aren't they the best salespeople on the planet?
100%. Yeah, everything they want.
Right,
Yeah.
anything they want, they know how to pull on your heartstrings, they know how to get you that smile, like,
Yeah.
are these like, we innately grow up knowing how to sell
Yeah.
and just people forget that when they get older.
Yeah, and I think also because of, I think the social media, right, the instant gratification, and I don't know. Listen, we're about the same age, right? We're in our mid 40s, and I feel like it's becoming like a lost art, and I wish there was. I wish they taught sales in school, but in kind of way, I don't wish they taught sales because, like, what the fuck? These guys who are teachers trying to teach them, but you can also say like there needs to be more education about it. And with that being said, I think that's why a lot of people fall for these bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit sales programs out there too, right? Where people get paid 10 grand, 15, 20 for some shit that doesn't, it's not really going to help them, man.
People are looking for some magic formula, some trick, right? They're just like, "Hey, if I spend this money, will that spending of money make me better at sales?" But the answer is no, and there's so many people out there, and there's some great sales programs, so I'm not knocking all of them, right? But there's so many people out there that they're selling you trash, right? Like I have an active interest, and I've studied salespeople from like Zig Ziglar, Dave Yoho, Dale Carnegie, and through now, and there's so many helpful people. There's so many things that can show you how to be good. But the a good chunk of sales programs today, the people that sign up to them get nothing from them because they're not willing to put in the effort to apply themselves to create social interactions. At a real level, they think just attending the program or spending the money is going to make them better in sales. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. Someone actually uh, taught me a trick, right? It's building rapport. This is early in my sales career, and they were like, "Look, you need to get better at building rapport. You need to get better at engaging people in conversations. So I want you to
They said
go
that to you?
to me,
Oh,
yes, right?
how long was it? How old were you yet?
This is 2006.
Okay.
It's 2006,
Yeah.
7. This is my first foray in in-home sale, kitchen table sales, I call it, right? So they were like, you need to do a better job of like building rapport. So like, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go out and start conversations with random people in random places. Line at Quick Check, line at a Wawa, grow like wherever you are, start a conversation with someone, see how much personal information you can get out of it. out of them, right? Just a trick. So for each, if you find the name of a kid, if you find, like a town they live in, a car they drive, whatever it is, right? Like, it doesn't, nothing like crazy personal, right? Like it's a win. Collect, I want you to collect 20 points
Mhm.
in this month, right? So like just points, like in the sense of every time you get some random person in it, in a, not like sitting at a bar where you have like time for extended conversations, just a random person like
Yeah.
get some kind of. So I I put in the effort, and it took me a while. I actually didn't get 20 points the first month, right? Because it's awkward to like, where do you start? How do And I eventually though got really good at just engaging people, finding a something common, like some commonality, usually physical, because you need something
Yeah.
on the spot. Nice shoes, Dave. Hey, man, I love that shirt. Where'd you get it from? Right? And all of a sudden, it just starts. I do love that shirt, by the way.
Shout out to Alejandro.
Yeah.
Pick this shit out.
Ali's always keeping Dave fresh. But it took me a while to like learn this art of engaging people and creating commonality, but it was wildly interesting to me like if you practice and did those things on a repeated basis, like what the art of possible is. And I know you mentioned social media earlier. it, it's people hide behind this screen, and then they get this kind of false sense because it's easier to put a filter on. I don't mean your face and anything, right? Or pretend to live this life that you have or don't have. And then like if you look at what social media does, it presents you information in like 15, 20, 30 second intervals, right? And you're just getting this overload of information, but it actually shortens your attention span, right? Because now it's like now I notice like sometimes I see people like they're watching a movie but they're scrolling on their phone, like they just need, like the movie's not enough, like the movie's on TV, but
Crazy.
just like,
Yeah.
and it's created this like attention deficit, and withdrawal from social interaction, that starts here, in the phone with social media. So it's it, it's definitely, a course alone doesn't solve this problem, right? Like you
Yeah.
have to get out there and you have to talk to people, you have to interact, and so that little trick that really helped me, like it just because it opened my eyes to thinking quicker on your feet, reacting, noticing things. Otherwise, you walk through life and you just don't notice anything because you're lost in
Yeah.
your phone. But if you start to pay attention to, what people are wearing or how they look or what, like you just notice things, it opens you up to a whole nother world.
Yeah, it's like a super skill or sort of like a superpower is
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah,
You could
100.
you can be dropped anywhere and not even know the fucking language, and just with your body language, you can make friends, and it's great. And I'm glad listen, I wasn't. This might shock you, but I was really introverted when I was young, right? And I hated feeling that way, feeling awkward, and I moved around a lot. That made me shy, but then I got tired of being that way. I would start to watch. I would observe. I think that's if you're an introverted person, that's my advice. Like use that skill, observation, and then I would when I spoke to people, I knew I would like compliment them on this, or I noticed they got certain quirks about them, right? But there's always, no matter if you're introverted, extroverted, there's always ways that you can utilize whatever you are to that personality type to kind of break out or
Yeah.
take it to the next level.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's funny because I say that, I've told people that I was also shy. It's like a thing that, it doesn't mean because you're introverted that you're an introvert.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't know how to communicate, or it's a confidence thing, right? To have
Yeah.
this confidence, and confidence is only bred through practice,
Yeah.
right? Getting out there, exposing yourself, not worrying about kind of what may happen, right? Just get out there and try. And it just changes who you are, change your personality, and opens up a whole new world for you. So it's an awesome feeling. Yeah.
So for the audience, there's people out here. I mean, we probably have a lot of people that are very seasoned in sales out here. But let's say there's someone they're fucking struggling. Man. What's your advice to them? Where will you start?
So struggling,
Like I don't know. They're maybe they're like the fucking person trying to sell me the car where they're not hitting their numbers, right? But they know they can. I don't even know. Like I feel like if they're not, then fuck them. If I feel the same way, I feel you gotta have the heart. Maybe the heart is what you need. You know?
I deal with struggling sales reps all the time.
Okay, got it.
And so
You're more compassionate.
yeah, so I'm not more compassionate, at all. I'm probably way more.
Actually, no, no, yeah, I've seen you in action, man. But you're great.
You've seen me, I believe in supporting people and helping them and showing them the way. But if where I draw the line is lack of effort. Like if you're not going to try and I'm trying,
Yes.
fuck you. Like I'm done. I'm done with that. Like we're not we're not doing that. Like, however, I have a system that works. I can teach you how to be good at sales, even from how to build. I have studied sales like top to bottom, inside and out. And do I know everything? I'd be close, right? However, I know enough to be able to help people, and I understand that if you really if you're struggling at sales, like let's open this up and understand why. The first problem that sales reps have is themselves. It's and I tell every sales rep the one thing you need to go from a mediocre sales rep or an okay sales rep to a great sales rep is a mirror. A fucking mirror. If you can't look in that mirror and be honest with who you are, where you stand, you'll never be successful in sales because the mirror is what allows you to it's the platform that you're going to build off of, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with salespeople is we're so egotistical, we're so proud, we're so type A, like our shit doesn't stink. And that's the paradox of being in sales. Like yes, you need to walk around with that confidence, but don't let it cross over into arrogance. Be humble enough to be able to criticize yourself, to understand where your weaknesses, what your shortfalls are, and then you can catapult. Yes, walk around like your shit doesn't stink, but inside your mind, have some humility. Know where you're deficient. Don't lie to yourselves. Because as people, I always say, like, who do we lie to the most? It's us, right? It's us. We hide behind this facade of who we want to think we are versus who we actually are. And that's the most defeatist thing that we can do in sales. So the first thing, right, that I tell all salespeople is get a fucking mirror, stop lying to yourself, self-assess. You will, if once you're honest with yourself, you will be able to at least open up your mind to accepting criticism, feedback, and then you can begin to plan what it is that you're deficient in and how to fix it, right? And for salespeople, it comes down to three things: interpersonal skills. It's like, how do you react? How do you interact? Sorry, with people. Content knowledge, whatever industry you're in, doesn't matter. How well do you know your industry or what your product, your competitors, right? It's knowledge, and then the last thing is backbone. You got to have some balls. You got to get on the you got to get on the table and be able to work through a no. You can't be scared. You can't be shy. Like get that no, embrace it, love it, appreciate it, be thankful. Like I always tell people, like that first no, thank you. I really appreciate that you're taking this decision seriously. Like that's the first thing out of my mind. I thank them for that first
Yeah.
no. It's like I love it, and then work through it. Work through it. You have to commit to the sale. Like you have to commit to the sale first as a salesperson, right? Like I'm not walking out of here without a fucking
Gotta
sale.
sell yourself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So if you don't commit to that sale and you're missing this backbone, you can have great content knowledge, you can have great interpersonal skills, but so many great salespeople walk away at the first no. You're fucked. You can't like. How often do you get a no out? I mean, a yes out of the gate.
Oh, never.
Not never, but
One out of that lay up every so often.
1 out of 50, 1 out of 20. Depends on the industry. 1 out of 100, right? But it's not. It's not often. It's de minimis relative to the number of yeses you actually need. So you walk away from the first no at the first no, you're done. So
Yeah.
for me, it's the three things, right? Interpersonal skills, just complete knowledge of your industry, your product, and a backbone.
Yeah, man, this is all great info, and I get excited. You know why? And I've talked about this before. I said this before so many times. Like sales is the fucking equalizer in our society, right? Doesn't matter what the fuck background you have, whatever. That's what can really get you to where whatever amount of money you want to make, you can do it. Look at fucking Larry Ellison. All of a sudden, is the richest guy. Right? He's been around for like fucking 30, 40 years. And he's been slowly growing Oracle, growing them. But he's a CEO, but he's a sales guy. At the end of the day, right? And it doesn't matter what your title is. You're always selling. It doesn't matter. You could be your mom. You're selling your kids. You're always selling everything. You're always selling, right? Yeah.
Our entire world is built off of interactions where the two parties want something from the other party, right? Like it's our whole world is built on this from when we're kids, babies. Oh, like a baby when the baby is like there's three things a baby is like: clean me, feed me, let me go to bed, right? Like, and even that are what's our most like primal instinct: just cry because I can't form words yet, so we scream, right? As a baby, to be like, no, I need one of these three things. Like, wake up, mom or dad,
Yeah.
right? Feed me, change me, or get me back to bed, right? Somehow. And so this whole world is built on these exact sales interactions. And so I, when I got into the world of sales, I love that because it was like this world teaches you how to go through life getting the things that you want, right? Like if it's such an amazing thing. Like, and I teach this to my manager. I'm like, guys, every conversation is a sale. Every interaction you have with one of your sales reps is a sale. Don't sit there and just tell them to do something. Sell them on why to do it, what's in it for them, what they get out of it, how to do it, right? Every interaction is a sale. And if we and I always tell people like, hey, like, people aren't listening to me. Well, I was like, well, did you do a good enough job to convince them? Like, did you like even think about like I'm married, right? If I really want something from, I want my wife to go on vacation. Like I love vacationing a lot. She's more of a homebody, right? She goes on vacations with me. But when I really want the vacation, like I want to go and I obviously like we're going together, I put on my sales hat. I know how to get her to I know how to get her to
Yeah.
say yes, right? Like it's like you can go through life and get all the things that you want if you just learn how to ask.
Yeah. It's yeah, you're right. And that's why I love it too, because I didn't expect to fucking in the cell, and I did that. It's survival, just to
Yeah.
survive, put fucking food on the table.
No.
And what I was gonna say too earlier is that I think what happened was like when I first got into sales, we grew up kind of. You grew up in Jersey City. I grew up
Yeah.
in Elizabeth and Newark. And
Very close.
yeah, very close.
Yeah.
And when I grew up in Newark, man, back then it was like the fucking crime capital of the country. It was a carjacking capital. A couple people died in front of where I live. I didn't see them die, but
There was a movie called New Jersey Drive.
yes, in Newark.
In Newark. Yeah.
Yeah, New
Yeah.
Jersey Drive.
Yeah.
So the point is like you get into like street fights, and I almost joined a fucking gang. And like I didn't even join the gang because they said they
I
had
keep picturing the gang day.
Dude, bro, I actually founded a fucking gang in 6th grade. Yeah,
No
I
way.
swear to God, bro. I was little, but the point is like you grew up in those eras. You don't want to be called a pussy. That's the thing.
Mhm.
You don't want to be a fucking pussy.
Yep.
And I remember when I got into sales. I remember when I first called, the guy hung up on me. And like I remember like I didn't rebut the fucking guy, and I remember feeling like a pussy. I'm like, you know what? I was a pussy on that call.
Uh,
I'm not letting that shit happen to me again. So like I use that little chip on my shoulder from growing up in Newark and Elizabeth, like, yo, man, fuck that shit. They say that thing, okay, I'm gonna rebut that. I'm gonna blah blah blah. And then I became so good at the fucking rebuttals, man. And that's why I outperformed everybody. So I think that's what it is. It starts with the head. You gotta convince yourself. And for me, I didn't want to be a fucking pussy, and I wanted to make money. And I saw other people doing it. I'm like, yo, all I gotta do is make this amount of calls. Like that was the proof was in the pudding. And that's what I mean. That's what I love about sales. You can control it. If you really dedicate yourself to it, you can make as much money as you want to make. It's just really what you make is just capped by what you think you should be able to make.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, just since the beginning of time, like just in different industries, there's been so many bubbles. Like, look, we're around the same age, like you said earlier. Like we had the dot-com bubble, right? Like the stockbroker world, right? And then I remember like when I turned 18, this is 97, 98. um mortgages were like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, mortgages were a huge thing, and I was seeing people with like $150,000 checks in a month, and I'm like, whoa, what?
This is back then, which is
This
now
is
like 250 in a month. Yeah.
Yeah, right. This is like
Yeah.
insane money, and that's when I realized like there's just if you know there's just so much where I live today, which our last
Yeah.
podcast
We all can.
is, yeah, it was
Beautiful place.
e- every morning I wake up and I look out and I'm like, think about the money that's in these buildings, that's working through these buildings, that's being made, being spent just right in front of me, like right there. So and sales is the cornerstone to all of that, right? And it comes down to building systems, which I've spent the last over a decade doing, just building systems across different channels and understanding like the sales funnel process and just then selling those systems to the
Yeah.
to the people that need them in order to be successful. And I always say the secret to success is just is the quality of an action times the quantity of actions,
Mm.
right? So the quality, like how good you do something, how much margin you can make in it, right? Whatever it is, and then being able to how many times you can do it, right? And so it's the same thing whether you're setting an appointment or selling a deal. It's like what is the quality of that action, right? And how many times can you do it,
Yeah.
right? And that always is the formula for money. It sounds stupid because
Right.
it is. It's so simple and basic. But if you just focused from a system standpoint on quality of actions, and then how many times you can get that action done, in a minute, in an hour, in a month, whatever. It's like that's where the money sits.
Yeah, so let's talk about what we talked about offline about this, and I feel very. It's this interview to me is special because we have history together, right? Man, fuck, we know each other almost 10 years,
Yeah.
and to see what you guys have done at Momentum. I mean, they call this shit the solar coaster. It really fucking is, right? And to see, and front row, like I said, I was your first lead source, online lead source that resulted in a sale. I remember being there in April 2016. I think you guys just hit 30 sales for the month. Then you hit 100. I saw you guys hit 300, 700, 1,000. I think at one point you were over 2,000. So their trajectory was fucking insane, right? I think you were for like 14 million a year, like 500 million. I mean, you know the numbers better than me. And we're like, this is like the shit that I would read about when I was at NYU during the dot-com bubble, right?
Yeah.
And seeing this happen and playing a part of it was amazing. And I always say that, I said this offline, you guys, and it all ties back to sales. Arthur's a fucking like a natural salesperson,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Got the best vocabulary in the fucking world, by the way.
The world's.
This guy, every time I talk, drops a word out of nowhere, like Jesus. Right? Anyway,
I always say that. I always say that.
phenomenal fucking vocabulary, which makes him more intelligent, right? Like, so I'm doing business with this fucking guy. Anyway, you guys were like, anyone watches new basketball from the 80s, the fucking Detroit Pistons were a team, man. You had to go through the Pistons if you wanted to. Like, Michael Jordan would not be Michael Jordan if it wasn't for the fucking Pistons. He got beat up by the Pistons, and then when he beat the Pistons, he was unstoppable. Never lost another finals game. But I feel like Momentum Solar, you guys were just so head and shoulders above everyone else in terms of sales, in terms of the door knocking, in terms of the call center, in terms of everything, the training. And that's why you guys grew so much. I mean, would you say the sales I mean, culture's another thing. We'll talk about that later, but that's all tied to sales at the end of the day. You have to sell the culture through sales, right? But I feel like the sales was your fucking the weapon that nobody had. You guys, that was your secret, your KFC recipe.
Yeah. So we went on an incredible run from 2015 for probably where we had a three, and you were there for part of it. Like we had a 3-4 year run where every single month was a record breaking month.
I remember.
For like 4 years, every single month was a record breaking month. It was, that as a salesperson at heart and as a sales organization, as a sales team, it was just an incredible feeling where every month it was like we're breaking a record, and even if we beat last month's record by one sale, it counted. But we did not for almost four straight years. Not one month did we come short of last month or any previous month. So it was an incredible run, and it was just I said this earlier, it's about stacking systems. Culture was a huge part of it. We threw an end of month celebration. I mean, we had people in the call center, reps, in homes, and we had a chat with the entire company, counting down the number of sales necessary to break last month's record. And on so many months, it came down to the last day. Like what the sales of the last day of the month were going to dictate whether we broke a record or we broke our streak. And everybody, I mean, people would stay past their shift.
Past midnight, man.
Past
For the West Coast,
past midnight. People stay past their shifts, past everything, to just be a part of the energy in the room when that last sale that brought us over the record hit. And then it was just fireworks. It was fireworks in the building. And like we were like, our repair bill, on the first of every month, some months were massive ceiling tiles, keyboards. I mean, we used to probably replace 20, 30 keyboards a month at the end of the month, because it was like our IT department knew, like, hey, last day of the month, celebration, make sure you have some monitors, but like 20, 30 keyboards ready, just spilling stuff. It was an epic time. And like, so that's the kind of culture where like you could have went home, like you're not being paid, but you just wanted to be there because you were so invested in the success of the company, the achievement of the goal, that you just wanted to be a part of it. And that's, that was just to see that, such a beautiful thing. I mean, for me also, what we created for people. I still remember a kid, Kevin. He was a record breaker for us in the call center. At one point, this kid had two computers, and he was dialing.
remember.
You remember, right? He was dialing out on two phones, and he came from, uh, you know, not a well-to-do background, right? And, I'd never seen the kind of money, that, well, just his family was, not affluent in any way, shape, or form, just right, food stamps, etc. And I remember we did like end of or like some it was like a hey, if we hit this goal, we'll take everyone down to, Harrah's, back when Harrah's was a nice
I
place.
remember that. The
Yeah,
pool party.
the pool party at Harrah's, yeah. And we took everyone out, and this guy, 6'5", he hugged me at this pool party and like crying. I mean, like tears. And he was like, he's like, I want to say thank you. Like, my mom thanks you. He goes, I never met his mom. He's like, my mom thanks you. He's like, you changed our lives. Like, I never thought, never thought this would be possible. Funny story about this kid. One of my business partners, not Art, the other one, Sung, right? His dream car was an M6, right? And he still had, he hadn't bought it. And this kid, Kevin, right? He was making so much money with us. He bought an M6 and drove it to work, right? And Song like comes to the parking lot like in a little while
The
later.
guy, Sung's a Wall Street guy, right? He's a Morgan Stanley or
Morgan Stanley, director, West Point graduate, Harvard Business School graduate, like, top of the top, right? Right? And and um and he goes, who the fuck is driving my dream car, bro?
he probably thinks it's someone trying to acquire you guys or something like some big
He's
private.
he's like, who's driving my dream car? I'm like, Kevin. He goes, Kevin from the call? I'm like, yeah, son, you have to step your game up, but you need to go change your dream car to something,
Yeah.
to something else. And it was just a funny story. And this kid, bought a first house, for his mom and himself, and it's stories like these, right? Like along the way, like that's the beautiful thing about what we do. Like, I say this to people all the time. Like you could buy your dream car only one time, right? But you could help people buy their dream car over and over
Oh,
again, and
yeah.
it's just as fulfilling. So it's an awesome feeling. But I know, like we got sidetracked a little
That's a
here.
beautiful story.
Um, from building, like how we did it, it started. It's the first, department I put together was canvassing, right? It's creating door-to-door teams. Door-to-door teams are, at the cornerstone of every business, and this is where I think in sales, it's recruiting. It's being able to, especially in like a high churn business like call centers or door knockers, in-home sales, things like that. You have to have recruiting down pat. You have to know the right systems, know how to split test ads, know what to say, change messaging, refresh ads, spend the right amount of money by area, have a great recruiting funnel, the right way to interview, sell, coach. I mean, even till I had a meeting earlier today where we were reviewing, manager interviews and just highlighting mistakes that the managers are making in the interview process and how that could have created a better pull through of
Right.
candidates, right? So just analyzing those things, and it was like a meticulous attention to detail. So we started in the door to door world, and to understand it, I went out and knocked on doors myself. I didn't, just want to tell someone, hey, go do this.
Oh, you had never knocked doors before that?
I had not.
Oh, wow. I thought that's the world you came from.
No,
I've known you for like 10 years.
Yeah.
This is like news to me.
No, I wasn't in home sales, but I was never the door knocker. I was always the closer,
Wow.
right? So I'm like, in order for me to figure this out, like I got to go and knock on doors, and
Yeah.
and I remember I went to Elizabeth, the Almora section, it's the nicer section of Elizabeth, and it took me like the whole first day I blanked. I couldn't like, but my second day I actually got to a door, and they, trying to pitch solar. They're like, "Oh my God, we just got our electric bill. It was so high. You could help us." They invited me into the house, gave me a glass of water. I'm sitting with the husband. I don't know shit about solar yet, because right. So he's asking me questions that I don't have answers to, and while the wife is rummaging through like a basket of bills to look for her electric bill, I took a picture of it and came back and sold it. 2 days later, but just to understand like how many doors you should knock per hour, what's scripting, what are common objections that you see, what are the right times to that people are home to talk to people, what's the right way to navigate territory, and how to knock on doors, and which directions to go, and identifying good territories, things like that. So we built it out piece by piece, right? So did that for several months, hired my first door knocker, second door knocker, taught them, what to do. And then when we started generating more leads than I could run, and Arthur was running the appointments himself as well. We hired our first sales rep and second sales rep, and grew that. And it all came down to systems and scripting, right? Like you can't do this without a formulaic approach to it. So I started kind of paying attention to what I was doing in homes, like what things I was saying. Like I made the joke reference, and what joke to use. But there were other things. I remember the first time that I try to say like, hey, not everyone can even qualify for solar. And instead of trying to sell them on solar, I said like, I don't even know if I can do this for you.
Yeah.
Right. And how I deployed that in a scripted way. And I watched the closing percentage like go up by like 27%, just on a few of the sales reps that I had, just by making the adjustment where we took the sale away from the homeowner, said like, actually, I don't know if I can do this for you. Like 2 out of 3 people don't qualify. And even a subtle thing like saying 2 out of 3 people don't qualify versus
But it's a fact. Yeah.
and it is. But
Yeah.
if you just said, hey, 1 out of 3 people qualify,
Yeah.
now you think I have a 33% chance of doing this versus, hey, I have a 67% chance of not being able to get this, right? And it changed the dynamic of the sale. It changed if you had a captive audience because you did the right things, it changed, at the end, they're like, hey, like, do we qualify? Like, how do we find out? And they're eager to take that next step with you. So doing that, like systematizing it, and I think one of the hardest things was scaling management.
Mm.
That's one of the toughest things, and you need a great like system of recruiting and training management folks. That's some of that's usually the biggest bottleneck, because you can't expand territory. I remember how hard it was when we opened our second location, which was New York, and finding like the right person, to get out there and run that
Yeah.
mark in the right way. And it was a lot of trial and error to figure out like who the right person would be and how to manage them, like, and how to manage their KPIs and to do it remotely. Like it's when you have like I have a sales presence. I get in front of rooms, I motivate people, but how do I duplicate that? Like
Yeah.
how do I get in front of New York's sales reps and motivate them and inspire them? I'm not even there. And just aren't working through those things really just allowed us each one. So then from there it was like canvassers, and we're like, all right, let's put a call center. We bought, shit data, not knowing
Yeah.
any better until, we enter the world of purchase leads through you. And but from there it was like retail locations. We were in home shows, street fairs, bridal
You guys were
shows.
everywhere.
Yeah, like everywhere that you could generate interest, and we've tried it all: mailers, radio, everything, but probably TV commercials is probably the only thing. The infomercials we've done. So we tried everything in a measured way, and always went straight back to conversions, and what those did the conversions pencil, from a math standpoint, from a monetary standpoint, and then from just piece by piece we scaled it where we do $600 million yearly sales.
Ringba is the leading inbound call tracking and analytics platform for marketers, brands, and pay-per-call teams. It gives you real-time reporting, intelligent call routing, and fully customizable call flows backed by global telecom access in more than 60 countries. With enterprise-grade reliability, a powerful API, and no contracts or setup fees, Ringba has become a go-to platform for performance marketers worldwide. To learn more and to sign up, check out the link in the description below. Get goated and let's fucking go.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. And I'm glad we started this all with sales, and we're talking about objections and the basics, right? The mental, all that stuff, and personalities, all that. But really, in order to scale, because my partner Ed will always joke, when we sell leads or we sell leads to a company, we want to sell to like a truck in the truck. if it's like 2 people, and every company starts as a truck in a truck, right? I mean, Momentum Solar was just maybe 1, 2 people at one point, then they grew. But to go from a truck in a truck to like dozens and hundreds of trucks, you got to be able to fucking scale. You got to know your numbers, and I'm glad you broke that down, because I seen it so much in home improvement, seen it in solar, where a lot of salespeople, they see the numbers, they can make good money, but they can't. You become like an Excel-unary. You see, oh, I sold this many people, I have this money come in, but sometimes the fucking money doesn't come in. People cancel, there's callbacks, you got retention, there's all this other shit, right? So I think that's why you guys have withstood the test of time. I mean, look at 10 years. I mean, in solar, that's fucking like 50 years, 60 years, right? In other industries. So
It feels like
yeah, right.
I had no gray hair. I had no gray hair, David, before I started solar.
I saw a picture of me when I was in your call center in 2017. I'm like, what the fuck, hell? Damn, I back then I was like, I thought I had a lot of grays. Like, what the hell, man? That's right.
No gray hairs, 200 pounds. I had probably like 2.5 pack, 3 pack, 4 pack, maybe. Like it just, yeah. So it definitely felt like 50 years, but it's been super fun. Like, don't get me wrong, it's been super fun. And that's like, even like, you guys, you know, talk about, like, from the lead gen world, right? Like it's tough for you guys too, because like you said, like, you're selling leads to people and you're being measured by the efficacy of your lead, but in some ways it's a little unfair to the lead gen world, because the efficacy of the lead also has a
100%.
lot to do with how you nurture, handle, call, outreach that lead, and what you do with it, and that was, and all of it was a learning experience. But like I remained immersed in every facet of the business, right? Down to jumping on the phones, listening to calls, watching the numbers, at an agent level. And now I've said it a few times already, but it's about building systems. That if you look at our call center, I mean, we have probably like 5 to 10 software platforms that run concurrently on top of it, just to ensure, from like DID, software that's checking for, scam likelies, and registering your DIDs, and AI component prompting agents to, say this at this different time, or different leads, different scripts that go for different lead sources or different lead channels, depending on where the lead was acquired, to complex lead intake platforms, right? And all the different restrictions and qualifications required to accept one, down to like, we have systems that track at an agent level, where we're moving agents up and down into different data groups intraday, depending on conversions of the day. So if you're having a bad day, I'm not going to sit here and allow you to burn through $5,000 worth of records because your girlfriend broke up with you, or your boyfriend broke up with you, right? Like, whatever. Like,
Or you bought calls and
yeah,
like this.
yeah. Or you bought calls on the day you should have bought puts, right? Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to sit here and allow that to let you burn through my data that I'm spending a lot of money. So watching that intraday, I mean, we have like a 1 to 8 management to call center agent ratio. Just to ensure that, hey, someone can pull you off the phone, coach you up in the middle of the day, get you back on the phone, and producing again. And so we watch it, very closely, and we have layers of, Power BI, watching statistics, numbers by lead source, by agent, phone number performance, like how,
Yeah.
right, like all of that, just to make sure that we are maximizing, our revenue from every dollar that we spend.
Yeah, and that's, I interviewed Nima, the CEO of Convulsion. We talked
Yeah.
about kind of similar stuff. And as a lead, if someone, we have a lot of media buyers and people that sell leads that watch our show too. And I can't emphasize enough. You gotta, when you qualify and you vet out, like you're vetting out the homeowners, do they qualify, whatever. We do the same thing on our end. We want to make sure that they're not living and dying off of every single fucking lead. That's the most annoying thing. But when you have a client, and that's why we're able, I lost track. We've sold your company millions of dollars, probably $5 to $7 million worth of leads, right? And we had our every client that we sold 7 figures dollars worth of leads, they've got a great system in place and they know how to work those leads properly, right? And then it's just amazing how a company, like, we could sell you a lead, right? And I know you guys are gonna work that lead properly. You sell a company B, same type of lead, same state, and they're gonna fucking piss all over, right? Because they're not calling in quick enough. They're not rotating the deed. They're not doing any of that
Yeah.
stuff. And that's great because when you get a client like that, you gotta really be in there. You gotta really work with them, and that's how you scale. And then you all grow together.
Speed to action, call cadences, right? Like, deploying the double tap and when to do it, and
Double tap, yeah.
yeah, right. Like all of these things, like you have to be able to, you have to know this inside and out, and apply it and continuously test and challenge yourself. Like we ask our lead vendors to send us test leads just so we can see how quickly we called it, how many times we called it. Is the system actually working? So we're constantly, spot checking ourselves to say like, hey, like, are we calling these leads the right amount of times and what the numbers are showing up as, and is our system following the call cadence, and do we have the right number of agents? Because if it's such a delicate system, right? Like if you have too many agents or not enough leads or not enough agents, right? Like it changes. If you don't have enough agents and now your leads are bottlenecking, like the system isn't gonna call it back in the right amount of time, and you're just reducing, conversion. So it's yeah, I mean, we do it well. We've spot tested other call centers, ones that have great reputations in the industry, to see if they could convert better than us, just as a litmus test. And we split test our data with them, like fresh leads. We took, gave one, took one, right?
Yeah.
In a round robin, and we outperformed them by a factor of two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we, we know our call center really well, and it makes a difference when you're spending, the kinds of money. Like, look, our spend is like $3.5 million a month, right? Like, like 1% difference in conversion makes a huge difference, right? In what your returns are going to be. So it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were at Affiliate Summit East, what was that, August, and I ran a panel. Arthur was on there, and then we had Robert from BCI, and I was still, obviously you want people to come, and they're like, give us some highlights. I'm like, this panel between me, between Arthur, Robert, we've done over $100 million in leads, right?
For sure.
And then I said, that's it actually might be double that. Because I was thinking about you guys 3.5, right? For how many years? You guys alone probably done over 100 million.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I fucking think I short sold ourselves. We probably did like 250 million, 300 million, something stupid.
It's
Yeah.
got to be 250 million, right?
Yeah.
At least just between Robert and our spends,
Yeah.
for sure, right? Like it's 30-40 million dollars a year.
Yeah.
Right?
Its size is incredible. And that's like the
Yeah.
top 1%, maybe half of 1%. I don't even know what it is. But that's what goes back to what I was saying earlier, that it all starts with sales. Without sales, you can't go from point A to point B. But you want to go to where you're at, you got to put these systems. You have to have the KPIs, and then the hiring's the other thing, because I think that, and you telling me, but we know insurance that it's 2016. The landscape in terms of the younger generation, that they're out there, and it's how you sell it, how you motivate them. But I think that's probably one of the challenges. Something I'm trying to do better with as well. I mean, how do you hire in this kind of environment? We talked about it before. People get fucking offended, right? This
Yeah.
thing, like, there's like,
There's a lot. I mean, there's definitely been, I don't know if other people are seeing it, but we've seen a decline in the quality of candidate that's coming in and applying for.
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, right. There's definitely been, and I think there's generational issues, right, that are coming into play, and like the average person just doesn't want to work or doesn't want to do things, but like, and it's so hard because you in this hypersensitive world that
Mhm.
we live in today, like you don't want to do the wrong things, but like this is fucking sales. If you're sensitive in sales, you're in the wrong fucking industry. Get out. Like you can't play to people's sensitivities. I'm not saying to violate any kind of work ethic or anything like that, of course, right? But you can't play to sensitivities. Like we're in a sales position, you have to have thick skin. You're gonna go out and encounter people. People are gonna tell you to go fuck off 100 times a day. Like, how are you gonna be? How are you gonna be sensitive? Like, it's not, But it comes down to a training program that, and that's the thing. Like our agents are constantly being trained. It's not just onboarding training, it's intraday and it's continuous training. So we've developed an MLS system we have courses and everything is coursed out. So
What MLS system?
yeah, it's just like it's an online university
Okay.
and all different sales topics that are specific to us. We have it for our canvassing teams, call center teams, in-home sales reps, um, retail. And what it is if we identify an area of weakness through the recordings and overlay of systems that we have, and we say, hey, like we can assign a module like, hey, you suck at closing, go do the closing tactic module,
Mm.
right? And then pass this course. And then we have tools where we allow people to practice with AI. So there's like an AI agent,
Amazing.
right? And so people can just practice, and that AI agent is trained on what type of objections to offer. So you're actually trying to close,
Nice.
as if they were a real customer. You're actually trying to close this customer, but it's with an AI. It's with AI, and then we can see how long you spent with that agent, what your results were, what your tonality is, and the agent, gives us a report and then allows us to be able to make real time information. Like, we come from a generation where there were ride-alongs, right? Like the manager, the supervisor would go with you somewhere and see what you do. Today, you can do virtual ride-alongs, right? Like
Yeah.
I can log into my system right now and listen to reps in the home as they are selling to a homeowner, and text them like, hey, like don't give up yet, like, or no, that's not, we can literally in real time offer feedback to our reps in a home, with specific context to the conversation they're currently having, right? And so it's hiring and the right people for sure, but it's just harder and harder to find those people. So it comes down to training and motivation,
Yeah.
and what you're doing to continue to motivate people and to give them the tools. Sometimes force feed it to them, right? I think the hardest part is convincing them to use the system that
Yeah.
works, and that's often the challenge. But it comes down to continual training always.
So let me ask you, you said the hardest part's making them or convincing them to actually stick with the system. Do you,
Yeah.
you find it works, it's better just to hire someone with no sales experience or someone that already has sales experience? And so like how much sales experience is the right amount?
No sales experience. Give me a fresh mind, give me a fresh heart, right? Untainted by past experiences or just erroneous sales practice. Just be willing to learn, be open minded. Have some confidence, personality, right? That's it. Just give me someone like that. We'll turn them into a sales professional all day long.
Yeah.
People that come with like, for a while, I didn't even hire people from the solar industry. Like as a rule, it was like, oh, solar experience, no,
Yeah.
because we don't want whatever, however you are selling, we don't want you to bring that over here. So for a long time, we did not hire anyone with solar sales experience. So let us just be open minded, just be willing to learn, right? Willing to try, not afraid. The rest will take care of. Yeah.
And there's still, regardless of, we know there's generations. I feel like our generation is more like, it was more outgoing, whatever. But regardless, I mean, there's still, it could be trained, right? And if you have that hunger, that desire, I mean, you can make a lot of money. It's just crazy what could be made out there. Yeah.
I mean, it's wild. Like I think about like the commissions that these reps earn today, and I'm like, this did not exist when I was doing
Exactly.
in-home sales jobs.
Yeah.
Like these kind of commissions, like, oh, it's wild what people can make today on a solar sale, and that's probably part of the problem. Some of these reps, they make too much money, so they're like, hey, I made one sale today, and it's like I'm good for the month. Like,
Mm.
so, and it's like how to, we don't, we don't have commission plans like that. With our top reps make a lot of great money, but it's because they follow the system and they do it with volume and quality jobs. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Man, this is great. We can go on forever,
yeah,
ever, man. Honestly, and I want to go back to the culture because I you guys have won a lot of accolades. I mean, I was going to ask you so many accolades. I think on one we won. There was one year, a few years ago. I remember I came to your house, and you guys, I saw the Solar Power World. You guys were ranked number 2 residential solar
yeah,
company, right? That
yeah.
I was pumped for you guys. Like, wow, that's amazing, right? And I've seen it from where you guys were to that, and then You won
Best workplaces.
best workplace, Inc. like top 50
Yeah.
a few times. Like, which is the most? Which accolade is the one that means the most to you out of everything you guys? And maybe there's something I didn't even mention.
My answer is gonna be a little cheesy, but I think the thing that felt the best were like, moments like the ones with Kevin. There's just so many people. There's just so many stories. There's so many rewards internally that we've had and experiences that and lifestyle life, I have 3 or 4 people that currently work for us. No, not currently. Maybe like 2 of them that currently work for us that were homeless,
Mm.
like living out of their car, homeless. One was homeless, like not even had a car. The other one was living out of their car, homeless, and they just bought their first house. Like one of them, the one that had not even a car, just bought their first house here in Florida, actually. And they shared that story in the national meeting. I was like, what best workplaces award is gonna top, something like that? That you took somebody that was homeless that came in, followed the system, bought their first house. Like there's just so many stories like that. I think those top everything for me personally. All the recognition's nice, right? To see, best workplaces, to know that you're doing the right things for your employees and they're having a good time. But this continual kind of, affirmation that we're doing the right things through stories like that, I think is probably the best from a feel good standpoint.
When you said that, remind me of that movie, The Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Like that's just yeah, that's the power of sales. You work hard enough, you get in the right environment, a company that cares, that's growing. I mean, you could write your own paycheck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Very crazy stories like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been super fun.
So what's next for you, man? I mean, you're obviously continuing to grow, but what's the future hold?
That's a great question. I have a passion for sales, Dave. Like I love helping people grow. I love kind of building things. Like I'm not I don't build with my hands. I don't have soft hands, but I don't I'm not a builder with
I got
my hands.
soft hands.
Yeah. They're not soft, but they definitely haven't been tested with any bricks or anything, right? So but I just love building things. Like I love building things. So I haven't answered that question fully in my mind, but I definitely want to just be able to be in a position where I can help others grow and create, you know, wealth for themselves and help create systems that just change lives. So I'm excited. You and I are talking about a couple different things that I'm excited about. Like so, but just being putting myself in a position where I can just help people grow and create wealth for themselves. I love that. I
Yeah,
love
it's a
that.
beautiful.
So it's somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling because listen, you just throw things out there and then out of nowhere, sometimes a connection comes back. They have an opportunity or where you see them doing it. It's such a fulfilling thing. It's
Yeah, it's awesome. And don't get me wrong, I love money.
yeah.
Right? Like I fucking love money. And making it. So but it is 100%. It's such a fulfilling, feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I know. I think Arthur one day I saw him at SolarCon. He spoke with the owner. Well, he used to be the owner of SunPro Solar. They got
Yeah.
for like 825 million.
Yeah.
It's a great panel. And
Yeah.
as I'm interviewing, I'm like, yeah, I thanked him. Right? I don't know if I thanked you the last time, but like what that our journey, us working together, us being friends, and all this, it's been so rewarding for me. Because man, I say this in all honesty, this is why I wanted you on this show so bad. I've worked with some of the best fucking salespeople in the world, man. And so I don't want to say like I feel like I shouldn't call you a salesperson because sometimes the sales get the wrong but bro, you're like top two, top three. You might be
Yeah.
number one, honestly. It's like and to have you on here for the audiences to hear this, man, it's like you drop so many fucking nuggets. And I've learned so much working with you, working with the Momentum team. Having a front row visual to that, man, it's helped. We wouldn't be where we are as a company,
No, I
Connection
appreciate
or Solar Direct, you know?
Dave, your energy is just bar none. Like top for the first 5 years I knew you, I thought you did drugs. I'm like, there's no way that Dave doesn't do a lot of drugs. But and I later learned because I asked you, you're like, no, bro, not at all. And plus I'm Ali would kill you, but but
But didn't you say you told somebody, yo, Dave's on coke, like you thought
yeah,
totally every fucking
bro,
day?
I thought you did like mountains of cocaine, bro. I'm like, Dave definitely, he probably has the spoon necklace and he just like dips into his pocket and just goes like the Energizer Bunny. And I later learned that no, it's not. It's all
A
natural.
lot of green tea.
A lot of
Fucking
green tea and healthy living. So, but your energy has just been bar none, dude. And like like one of the things I admired about you the most is like your ability to go out and network and you're always traveling, like you're always somewhere, in the mix, making things happen, meeting people, connecting people, can not just connecting with people, connecting people, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you've been a force, and so it's awesome. I appreciate our friendship and the things that we've learned from each other. I'm like, man, like I gotta be more like David. Like I need to get out there and like meet more people, like
Yeah.
and do that. So it's awesome, man. You're the man.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you on. And I'll tell you one thing, man. When I was at Momentum in Jersey for that period of time, that was an interesting part of my life because I was separate. I was going through a divorce. My daughter was in New Jersey. I was flying from South Carolina to New Jersey, right? And the timing, everything was crazy. I wound up moving to Metuchen, New Jersey, which is like fucking a mile from Momentum's call center
Yeah.
operation, and it was great for me. And that's a time where my company was starting to like move, and it was such a pivotal time in my life, right? So looking back, if it wasn't for that, I don't know, like I things would probably work out, but it wouldn't. I feel like it really helped. You guys talk about collapsing time frames. It helped me collapse time frames, right? So it was just such an important time, and solar's been great for me, man. It was not just for the money, but like what it's done for my career and confidence and connections, man. But like, yeah, it wouldn't. I feel like we're like joined by the hip, man. And
Yeah.
there'll be a lot more shit, we're gonna do.
There's a lot more coming. Stay tuned, baby.
Stay tuned, guys. And guys, so I got footage, man. We'll send it to you. I don't know if you have a fucking you. It has to go by the PR team or whatever. But we got footage. Me throwing chairs. I think you throwing chairs. I think one of the partners punched the wall. Fucking put a hole in the wall to one of those celebrations.
Definitely, let me send it through legal first.
But we got that fucking foot, and that's what sells. But that's why that's why you have that's good culture. That's why you have numbers. You can't be in a fucking call center where Larry was like, you got to have excitement. You got to have the music, all that shit.
It's got to be fun. It's got to be fun. It's funny. Sung Lee, right? He's business partner, our third business partner. Like we said, Harvard Business School, all that good stuff. And he actually, the way we met Sung, it's a funny story. We were at a point where we were growing. It's 2016, and it was time for us to find a CFO, like a real CFO that can navigate the financial markets and all the nonsense that goes with like just running a business of this size. And someone introduced us to Sung as someone that he was in the renewable space at Morgan Stanley at the time, to just get advice from him as to who could be a CFO, right? So he was not like we did not meet him to recruit him or anything like that. And so he came to our Metuchen office, right? And he walked through the call center and the music was playing and everyone's buzzing on the phone. And later he told us, so what ended up happening is, we're like, he talked, heard us out, whatever, called us into his office in New York at, Morgan Stanley, and then said, hey, like, forget looking for a CFO, I'm your guy, right? And later he told us, and for us, it was like, we didn't even think we could get like Sung. We were just hoping for some advice. Like we never thought we could actually get Sung to join the team. And he was like, I'm your guy, like I'll do it, right? And he's like, I want to change, I want some excitement, like I want to bank on me. And later, what he said was like, it was walking through your call center that made me quit my job at Morgan Stanley and come join this with like, no pay. Like this guy was making 7 figures at Morgan Stanley and came into like our shop and saw the energy in the call center and goes, man, this is like, there's something beautiful happening here. I don't know what it is. He's like, he didn't know this part of the world, right? And he's like, I didn't know what it was, but I wanted to be a part of it. And that's how we joined the team. And eventually, we became partners and, and here he is. Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great story. That sizzle, that when that call center has that energy, it's something else. We had a contract, Duke Energy, similar story. They came to our call center in South Carolina, and man, and I remember we always had good energy before that. I knew I put on an extra show. You know, when I knew this, the fucking like whatever, we're gonna be extra. We're gonna smile by everything. In fact, we weren't even like we weren't even pretending because that's how we were. But like extra, whatever the fuck we gotta do. And I swear to God, that helped us get the contract. You know, like, little things work.
We had a bell, like,
Yeah.
like I went to a charity and there was a signed like bell signed by Mike Tyson, right? Like the boxing ring bell. And for a while, we had that in the call center. And anytime someone set an appointment, they'd walk in the bell, ding, and everyone like cheer, like, and it was just something silly, like that. We just hung in the call center, and that's just it created energy and just and
Yeah.
I love our name, Momentum, because
Yeah.
it it actually works, like pun intended. Like it's momentum, right? It's building off of what's coming behind you,
Yeah.
and you keep going. So it's awesome.
I love it, bro. We can talk about this shit all day long, man. It's fantastic, but bro, beautiful shit.
Yeah.
Bro, we might have to get you on here a third time, man. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm in.
We might do this every fucking few months or whatever.
I'm in. I'm totally in, man. I'd love to. First of all, I love doing these. That It's so much fun with you. We have dinner tonight.
Oh, we got dinner tonight. Yes.
Don't be late.
Oh, we're going to a brand new spot.
Amazonico. Yeah,
Exclusive spot.
Yes. Stay tuned. A Silly Prince. All right. You'll see it on the feed later. Yeah. It's just I'm 100% in. It's so much fun.
No,
So
it's
much
great. And you got there's so much value, so much knowledge. And again, whether you're someone looking to get in sales or someone seasoned, you drop a lot of knowledge. And I think the most knowledge is for these smaller, I don't know, it can be smaller, mid-sized, whatever the hell you want to call them, solar, roofing, home improvement companies, or any fucking company that's doing sales. You know, how do you apply these elements? How do you apply the KPIs? How do you hire properly to go to the next level? I mean, I think one of the benefits of being the age that we're at, we've seen a lot. I just have a client, they got bought out for $4 billion in home improvement. I was just on the phone with them before I got here, right? And they have those same elements that you have. And just 10 years ago, they may have been doing fucking 20, 30 million a year in revenue, and now they're $1 billion in revenue. So you have to, if you want to take it to the next level, you got to put these policies, these things in place. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same fucking results. And nowadays, things are so fucking competitive right now that you got to be ahead of the curve, man. So you drop so much fucking knowledge. So I think it's valuable. It's so valuable having you on here.
It totally, I love to do it. And like, I'll give you an example. I walked into my friend's, he owns a home improvement company, relatively small shop, right? Couple sales guys, couple door knockers, in, Florida and New Jersey. I walked into his office and, I was just going to have lunch with him and I saw that they were having a sales meeting. So I just sat in on the sales meeting, right? And just to kind of feel and I saw this like negative energy in the room, right? And and I felt it, like the sales reps were just like kind of like I felt the vibe and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is
It's annoying, right?
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
Yeah. And so I started talking and I just kind of like took over the sales meeting. I couldn't help myself. And in like 20 minutes, I got the salesman to talk about what was going on, what the resting bitch face was all about, right? And they opened up to me in the sales meeting. Uncovering that, I gave a few, like I got up and role played with the door knockers because they were all together, and gave the door knockers like a few tweaks on just at the door, like how to do things slightly differently, and their numbers turn around the same day.
Incredible, right?
My boy goes, "Yo, could you come every week?" I'm like, "Yo," I was like, I'll come once in a while, help you out, but I can't, But it was just funny, like sometimes scaling, there's just small adjustments, and you have, with experience, you build an eye for it. And you can easily just walk into a room and know how to make some small adjustments and change everything. So
Yeah, and that's what comes through the experience. I know you, Jesse Itzler. You probably know Jesse Itzler, right?
Yeah.
Devin.
Yes.
Devin's like become real tight. That's great. I went to one of Jesse Itzler's events, man, 3 or 4 years ago in Georgia, and he said something really interesting. He said, you got all these gurus, right? They're like they're in their 20s. Yeah, they've had some success, but you don't know shit till you're like 40 or 50, right?
Yeah.
Think about and he's like 52 doing these programs. He doesn't have to do it. The guy's a billionaire. His wife, I think his wife is richer than him. She invented Spanx.
He invented Spanx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the guy gets he enjoys it. And when I heard him say, I said, you're fucking right. And then guys like us have been doing this for so long, decades, man. And we've made our mistakes. We fucked up a lot of things, but that's collapsing time frames, right? That we learn that. So that's why having you on here, man, in sales is like the fucking, man, it's like the lost art, right? And I feel like that's why I love having you on here, because with sales you can do fucking make as much money, you can scale companies, you can do all this. Plus, but you know, the other aspect is not just sales, it's also the organization, the KPI, the structure, all those other fucking elements that will take you from, you know, good to great. So that's why it's so valuable having you here, people like you on there, because you've been around the block, man. It's only gonna get fucking better. So this was great. This is fun. Now we probably did this like an hour and a half. I don't know how long we are, but I can keep going. We can go here for 10 more hours. Literally, swear to God.
Literally, but listen, man, it was awesome. It was a great time. You let me know when you want to come back here. Any excuse to get to Miami.
We're doing Jersey. We're doing it anyway. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, we're doing the Jersey.
Oh, one dude buy Pakistan. We give a fuck.
Don't tempt me with a good time. Say,
oh, baby.
I still owe you a Colombia trip. So
we do it. All right, man. Colombia Con 3.
Yeah, we gotta get the wives together, get them over to Colombia.
Let's go.
But yeah, totally in, man. Great time. And that's it.
Yeah, we'll put a link to Alex's information, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever the fuck he wants to put on here. Success leaves clues. We dropped someone. We should charge for this fucking episode, man. Starts $9.99. And I'm not talking about $9. I'm talking about $999.
Let's go.
Yeah, some crypto shit. I love you, man. Oh, fucking go, guys.
Let's go. LFGTV, baby. Woo.
Your network is your net worth. We got a fucking crazy network of people. I'm not talking about your average motherfucker. I'm talking about people doing $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a day in ad spend. People that have made billions of dollars in sales. People have exited their companies for about $1 billion. We hit 100 episodes. Guess what? We're about to take shit to the next level. So you want to be part of it? Subscribe right now. Remember, no money, no honey. Let's fucking go.